Okay, so we go from questions 1 and 2 involving a lot of thinking, a lot of connections between other units and piecewise functions and domain and range, to question 3 where it's kind of silly. Okay? Very rarely will they ask you to do a question like this. But in A, you've got the function h of x equals 4 plus 5x plus 2x cubed. And you need to make new functions f of x, g of x, n of x, and m of x. So when they get added together, they make h of x. Can you see that if you made f of x 4, g of x 5x, n of x 2x cubed, and m of x 0, if you added them up, you would get 4 plus 5x plus 2x cubed? And unfortunately, with these kind of questions, you can even cheat even further if you'd like. I mean, that's not cheating. This would be considered a good answer. But if I really wanted to cheat, what happens if I just made f of x exactly what h of x was? What would I have to do with the other ones? Make them all 0. Would this be wrong? No. Does this make this kind of question rather stupid? Yes. There won't be any of these on the exam. Okay? Why won't there be any of these on the exam? Well, for one, you could write almost anything down, and as long as it's simplified, you would be fine. So what?
So wait, you can do the thing on the right?
Yeah, it works, doesn't it? It kind of defeats the purpose of the question in some ways, but it works.
But it shows you have a thorough understanding.
It does show that you have a thorough understanding of the question. Okay? So what would end up happening more likely on an exam? Well, let's do B first. You want f of x to equal, or h of x to equal f of x minus g of x. Let's think of a complicated one, then let's think of or should we do the easy one first? Here. The easy one is you make f of x the whole thing. And what do we make g of x? 0, okay? Which, it's right. It seems like we cheated a little bit, but it's right. If you wanted to do something more complicated, you could do something like, ooh, let's make this 7 plus 9x plus 3x cubed. And then what would g of x have to be? If we subtracted, this would need to be a 3. And then I need 4x to make 5. And then 1x cubed to make the 2x cubed. That would be right. But when you look at the second answer where you make 1 0, you say, why do I put myself through that trouble of possibly making a mistake when I could do it so easily? Exactly. So that's how we could cheat for, no. Again, if it was on the test, what would be more typical is they would say, given h of x is this, find g of x if f of x was 7 plus 9x plus 3x cubed. So you would have to figure out what the missing one was that only would have one answer. It's still not hard, but that would be more typical of what would come up on a test. Can you do this the easiest way possible? Okay, yes, I guess so. Okay. Questions for this one are 7, 8, I. Yeah. And then we'll do question 4.